Hi, I'm here and I am recording a reading. I just asked Spirit, I was like, give me something to chat about because I'm feeling like a chatty Cathy. And so I asked for a song. And I was kind of rejecting all the songs that were coming to my mind because I wasn't interested in any of them. But then, because I was rejecting them all and I wasn't like really letting myself flow with whatever was coming in, I went to my music app and I just clicked shuffle. And the first thing that came up was Birthday, but then it quickly switched to Willow by Taylor Swift. So birthday might be a significant thing, as in something might be happening on your birthday, something might be happening on my birthday. July 14th might be an important day for everyone, who knows? Or like somebody's birthday's coming up, I don't know. And like Burning Up was also a song that was coming to mind before I declined it. But you know what? My actions leading up to finding the song that I want to use as the reference for this reading also fit in with this reading. So the song is Willow, and the part that I'm going to say is significant for this reading is, what's that one? Life is a willow and it bent right to your wind. No. Oh, the more that you say, the less I know. Wherever you stray, I follow. I'm begging for you to take my hand. Wreck my plans, that's my man. You know that my train can take you home. Anywhere else is hollow. I'm begging for you to take my hand. Wreck my plans, that's my man. And it's very, very windy. It's been very, very windy for the past few days, like extreme wind, which means the winds of change are coming in. Time is shifting and the world is turning. And we are all about to be on the wheel of fortune. And you better hope you end up on the better side of things. It's all going to be dependent on your karma. Don't be afraid, because it's inevitable and you can handle it, because Spirit would not give you anything you can't handle. But this is a love reading, and you should watch this reading that I did the other day, because I was getting a lot of random messages from the future, and I was getting that it's about to be a whole party. It's going to be lots of celebrations. It's going to be lots of fun. Oh my God. You see what I mean with this wind? They're trying to take us out, but they're also trying to say, go with the motherfucking flow. Some people might be traveling a lot in the next few years, not even just days, but years. I don't know why I skipped like weeks and months, but you know, it could just be like that extreme, like years versus days. You know what I mean? We're going to be on the extremes of emotions and reactions and experiences while we're here on Earth, because we're getting to the tipping point. Yeah, you see the way these trees are bending, and it's like we are gonna be bending. You know those roller coasters where it's like, or not a roller coaster, but like those parade rides where it's like this, or like, you know, at the water park, like at the splash parks, they have that tipping thing, that big water jug, and you fill it up, and then like it tips over eventually, like. That's kind of the energy here on Earth right now. It's crazy, and it's only going to get more intense. But for a lot of people, it's actually going to get a lot better, because a lot of us have a lot of good karma that's been saving up, because everybody has been healing in one way or another. And everything is an act of healing, because basically being alive is an act of healing. You're addressing something from your past life or your past existences that you're working through now, and so everything you're doing is healing, but some people are doing it at a level that is more beneficial for them and is actually going to get them somewhere, versus some people who stay in like an inactive cycle of healing that just doesn't really, it's healing but only to one part of you, and maybe a dimension of you that doesn't really need that attention anymore, but you keep feeding it because it's a comfort zone, you know. So like some people, you know, as a child heal something, and then they grow up and they just fixate on that one thing and never move past that type of energy. And so those are the people that kind of end up not so much on the greater spectrum of things, the more beneficial aspects of life. But anyways, I was getting that there's this need to go with the flow because even though it's windy out and it's kind of crazy, and I'm thinking of even like a rocky boat on the sea, I'm thinking about it in like a nice kind of breeze. Like it's windy, but it's also very sunny out and it's very beautiful out, and I enjoy the wind because it brings a little bit of dimension. If it wasn't windy, it would be too hot and I'd be uncomfortable. But because it's windy, it's bringing in a fresh energy, a refreshing energy. But you don't want to fight it, you know? You could easily feel this wind, and then if you sit in it for only 1 second, you would think it's cold. But if you sit in it for like 5 minutes, then you understand that it's actually not cold. And it comes in waves. So it's windy, and then it slows down, then it's just a nice little breeze, and then it's kind of still, and you get to feel the heat. You know what I mean? It's like you're following the flow of the earth, but you need to be outside and you need to be present and you need to have time. You need to create space in order to do that. I guess this isn't a love reading, I don't know. But I have been feeling like, and I think we're all sensing, well, I was just saying to my sister the other day that I feel like people in this lifetime, was I saying this to her? Well, I was saying a part of it to her. But I feel like people in this lifetime are going to start meeting soulmates and soul family, whatever you feel comfortable calling them. You know, if you don't like the term soulmate or like twin flame and things like that, I can absolutely understand why, because it has been exploited and manipulated, and it does leave people in toxic relationships and have unhealthy relationships with love and romantic relationships and friendships and things like that. So I can understand why you don't want to use that term. But let's just say that people are going to be meeting people who are really aligned with them and are really good for their growth, and will be able to create very deep and meaningful, intimate relationships with people in this lifetime. People who understand you at your core level. So it's going to be very beautiful. But because of that, being able to meet somebody like that means that you really have to be in tune with yourself. You have to be aligned with yourself in the most healthy and vibrant and good for you ways. And you have to be healing. So healing is going to be a huge thing. We've already been doing it so much. And this pandemic almost like fast tracked us towards our future in a way that it would have taken longer to get there had we not gone through COVID, which is ridiculous because everything is kind of aligning. I've been saying in my past reading, I was talking about how it's a short way, but it's the long way. And COVID was the short way, but the long way to this future. COVID was, and it's still around, and it's going to be around, but it's going to be like the flu, and I don't think anyone should be afraid of it anymore, if I'm being honest. I can totally understand the fear, because the government just like made us all feel like we were going to die and then didn't do anything to take care of people's mental health, doesn't care about the people that lost their jobs, doesn't care about the people who are affected economically. Like, it's fucked. And then there's people who have like real long-lasting symptoms. So it's a lot. And we should take COVID seriously in terms of how it's affected people and affected our world. But I don't think there's any need to be afraid of it, is all I'm going to say. But obviously be careful and be mindful of other people's comfort and safety and all of that. What am I saying? Oh yeah, but COVID was the long but short way to this future. It gave everybody, most people, a lot of people, a chance to be extremely introspective. We all got online or we got offline and we isolated and we went into hermit mode and we quit our jobs and we were healing and relationships were falling apart and we were discovering ourselves, or we were realizing we didn't know ourselves at all. Like, all this shit was coming up because things slowed down. Things started breaking down. Health became a thing for a lot of people that's important, and now like there's just huge shifts. Like, before COVID, veganism and all of that and plant-based stuff was already becoming huge, and it was already a big thing. But I do think that being inside and having such a health scare shifted a lot of people onto a track that is more mindful and more in tune with just making sure that you feel good in your body and that you feel safe in your body and you feel comfortable in your body. So there's been a lot of healing and breaking down of systems and perspectives because of COVID. And so it felt like a long way to get there because it was 2 years, a little bit over 2 years or something like that. And it's been hard, but it was the short way. Because had we not experienced that, it would have taken like individual moments of crashing and like rock bottom. And instead, COVID kind of aligned the entire globe and put us all on the same track for a little bit. And now we're all still pretty aligned. And it's quite incredible. So, it's hard because you never want to talk about things like the pandemic and put it in such positive terms because there was so much life lost and so many people were hurt and affected by it in a way that, is traumatizing. People are healing from the pandemic, and people just got completely uprooted, and so many tragedies have taken place because of it. And so, it's hard because I want to make sure that I'm being balanced and recognizing and making it clear that I understand both sides of the spectrum. But I do want to be honest about the things that COVID has given us, or at least this break in time has given us. And it's even, I think, made clear the very, very obvious contradictions in the way that we see government and the way that we see our own personal power and the way we relate to media and technology and social media and all of those things. I mean, COVID, if anything, was like such an interesting process in seeing when you trust the government and when you don't. Because pre-COVID, no one in my circles that like my online circles as well as even my friends, like no one trusted the government. But then we all were like, the government's trying to protect us, vaccines, masks and all of that. And I believe in wearing your mask and all of that. And I have my vaccine shots. I think your vaccine should be a choice, because I don't think anyone should be forced to do anything with their body. I know that that's complicated, I know, but it's just how I feel. And I understand the hesitation because I understand that the medical industry is racist and has horrible discriminatory roots, and you can't expect people to just forget about that because right now we need to be doing something that aligns with all the greater good, greater good for who. So yeah, it's complicated. We're understanding that things are complicated, so please bear with me. But the point is, the Wheel of Fortune, 10. We have been in this number 9 energy for a while. Oh my God. We've been in this number 9 energy for a while, which is the Hermit. But it's we're coming to a close of it. And it's interesting, maybe that's why the birthday came up, because this is something that's true in my own personal life. I've been in the number 9 energy this entire year. That's like my year number. And my birthday's in July. And when it's my birthday, I will be starting over and I'll be going back to 1 or 0, something like that. And I think that Spirit is trying to give the hint, and I think that we've all already been feeling it, that there's this shift that's coming. But I don't think, I know that we've all felt it, but I also know that I feel like I'm expecting a lot more. And every time something happens, I'm like, oh, okay. But no, there's something more. I have not been able to satisfy this energy of change that I feel within me and I feel in the energy around us. There's nothing that I've seen or heard about that I'm like, that's what it is. That's what this energy is all about. And it's something that I don't think that we are going to be, I don't know if we're going to be aware of it until it's much closer. Even though it already feels very close. It feels like it's in everything. And it is. But there's more. There's so much more than you can ever imagine. That's what it seems like. Or feels like. Because I feel like there's more that's about to happen. Yeah. What was I saying? In the night. Oh yeah, and I was saying to my sister that it seems like no one can find a good relationship these days. And I think that that's on purpose. I think that we feel like that because we are at the height of recognizing and being painfully aware of all this shit in the dating world right now. But I think we're about to go through a renaissance, and the great Queen Beyonce is just always on time, because I've been quoting her so much with her Everything Is Love album. Jay-Z does exist, but it's really Beyonce's album, Everything Is Love, and that has been so prominent in my mind. I don't know, dragonflies might be relevant. I've just been seeing them everywhere, especially today on my favorite hill on the planet. But yeah, everything is love. Love is going to be huge. Romance is going to be huge, but you have to let it come in. You can be scared and you can be like protective of yourself, but don't block yourself from it. Be open. And being open just means that you're willing to explore it. You're willing to allow it to come in so you can ask questions. It doesn't mean you have to let it like come into your house and live there, It's just letting it ask you, like say hi. That's honestly it. And then use your intuition and your judgment and also your heart to just see what's really good. But yeah, there's a lot of love energy in the air, and it's very exciting, but it's not here yet, or at least it's not here for me yet, but I feel it very, very deeply, and I'm excited for it, but I'm also like, when the fuck is it coming in? Like, it feels like it's been like this for a minute now, but I haven't felt it this strongly for a while. Like, it's been like this for maybe like a month, maybe 2 months. I've dreamed about it for like a good year now, and I've always had dreams about love. I'm a hopeless romantic. But it's been like a strong dream and desire for like a year now. Maybe 9 months. But yeah, that number 10 energy, that Wheel of Fortune energy is huge. 10, 1, and 0. All of those numbers and all of those cards, the Magician, the Fool, and the Wheel of Fortune, are very big. And I guess you could also consider the World, 21, which would also, so maybe it's the World, 21, it's 3, the Empress, and it's Hierophant, number 5. So Magician, the World, the Fool, the Empress, the Hierophant, and the Wheel of Fortune. All of those energies are prominent right now. And Magician meaning, and there is no bias. It's really all karma, right? So Magician, you create your own reality. You create your own fate, literally. Your words are powerful. Your thoughts are powerful, extremely. Don't take that for granted and try. You don't need to be afraid of thinking bad things. You can have negative thoughts and all of that, but you need to believe in yourself and you need to love yourself through all of that, because self-sabotage, this is not the time to self-sabotage. This is not the time to go back to an ex that you don't actually want to be with. This is not the time to go get a job that you hate. Like, this is not the time to make those types of moves. This is the time to either be still and wait and just see where the universe will take you, so flow, or this is the time to make big leaps in a direction that feeds your soul. But please, this is not the time to be toxic and self-sabotage. And I know I'm a Cancer and a Leo. And I'm a Cancer sun / Aries sun. I had an astrologer tell me that I was actually like an Aries in disguise. So yeah. Oh. Cancer sun, Aries sun, Leo rising, Sagittarius moon, Leo Venus, Cancer Mercury, and Mars, I think. Or Saturn, something like that. No, I think I'm a Saturn Taurus. Anyways, either way, I'm dramatic. I am the drama most of the time for myself. Like, not toxic, but I just can be dramatic. this is not the time to be dramatic in a self-destructive way. And don't try to pretend like you don't know what I'm talking about and you never self-sabotage simply for the sake of drama, because we all have. But this is not the time to do that. It's human, it's fine, no shame, no judgment, but this is not the time to be dramatic so that you can have drama in your life and do things that are not good for you. Because those things are going to stick, because the wheel of fortune is turning, and when it stops turning, I don't know, but you don't want to be caught on a side that you don't like because you just decided to be self-destructive that day. You know what I mean? Like, let's not make any permanent decisions. So either don't do anything and just let the current take you, or take risks in a direction that follows your heart and feeds your soul. Because either way, you can make big choices and big decisions if they're aligned with your heart, and everything will be okay in the long run, because you're making decisions that are choosing yourself and investing in yourself. So even if you fail, it's a lesson that you already needed to learn, and you actually just fast-tracked your life and learned a lesson more quickly, because you just took a jump and you took a risk and you listened to your heart. And it's okay if it fails. Failure is important. But being self-destructive and going back to an old cycle is not what you want to do. That is literally the last thing that you want to do. Do not get caught in old cycles. That's what I was talking about earlier today. I was talking about how, what was I talking about? Like knowledge or something. You never want to stop learning. If you already feel like, if something is easy and if you feel like you know it like the back of your hand, that's when you're ready to move on. And that doesn't mean that you have to leave it behind. It just means that you need to be in search of more after that. And that means something different to everyone. So you also just need to feel confident enough in yourself to be able to define your life on your own terms. And not allow anything that anyone else says to trigger insecurity in your life choices. Because nobody knows what is best for you other than you and spirit. And when you're listening to your heart, you are going to make the right decisions. So don't let anyone else try and influence you. You know, take guidance if you want to. Let somebody mentor you if you want to mentor or something like that. But listen to yourself and don't devalue your own knowledge and your own self-awareness. You're incredibly smart and you know a lot. You've been living this life here on earth. You haven't just been doing nothing, twiddling your thumbs. You've been living, which means you know shit. What else? I don't know. I think that things that have just been very things that have just been very prominent to me are around like pleasure, self-care, self-love, self-investments, things like that. I haven't been doing many like tarot readings, and I think that's because I'm trying to like expand beyond needing to use my tarot cards to understand my intuition. And so I'm trying to just be able to talk and pull from the infinite knowledge or source that we have here in this life, just through chatting. So trying to work that muscle. And I think that it goes along with trying to work my entrepreneurship muscle, trying to start my own business. And I think that that's something that maybe everybody should consider. You know, there's always been that thing about everyone needs to have a side hustle or something like that. I think that everyone should be doing something, like everybody should be running something in their life. Everybody should be the boss in some aspect of their life. And maybe that means having your own business. Maybe that means, I don't know. But I just think that more people should consider entrepreneurship. I know that they say some people aren't meant to be a boss. There's always got to be blah, 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 blah. But I don't know if I really believe that. I think that, you know, there's different levels to it. But everyone is this is a time of empowerment and leveling up. This is not the time to stay in the same place that you've always been in. This is certainly not the time to go back to who you were pre-pandemic. That is like the last thing you should want to do. Even if you feel like pre-pandemic you was the better version, I promise you it wasn't. You've learned very valuable lessons, because as a collective we've learned extremely valuable lessons that we all needed to learn, which is why we were all affected by the pandemic. There are like sicknesses and diseases that go around, that happen in the world, but we're not all always affected. There's been so many things that have happened in the past few years, like the Zika virus, even the swine flu, all of those things, but nothing was like COVID. COVID happened to all of us because we all needed to learn the lessons that COVID and the pandemic was bringing. So there's no reason, there's no rationale, there's no way that pre-pandemic you was a better version of you. So don't even go back there. You can reminisce on the things that you miss and the good parts, but girl, leave it alone. That's the past. The past is a place, and you don't want to get stuck there. That shit is whack. It's not fun. It's cute to look at from photos from a distance. What's that, TikTok? That's that type of shit you watch from a distance. Literally. You don't want to be stuck there. It's not fun. It's not healthy. But I don't think you will, because the Wheel of Fortune is about to take y'all on a ride. We're about to be going on a ride, and I already feel like we've been on the fucking ride. Like, the wheel has already started turning. The wheel started turning. I feel like it started like picking up speed to the point where we could feel it turning in like May. But it's probably been turning like for like a year now or something. Yeah. What's before that? Strength. Yeah. I feel like the Chariot came in 2020 and fucked us all up and was like, like, let's run into this pandemic, and it just happened so fast, with power, and no one could stop it. It was just gonna happen. And then strength was like the patience and the courage and getting through it and pushing through it. And then the Hermit came in, and it was like, okay, time for people to have dark nights of the soul, spiritual awakenings, rock bottoms, introspection, healing, solitude, blah 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 blah. And now here's the wheel. And it's coming in to change up the energy and to bring in the karma that's been harvesting over the past few years. Because I think that a lot of people have not received have not received what they deserve. Like, I think a lot of people have been, like, patience has been pushed. People have been pushed to be patient and to honestly wait and to trust that it's going to happen, even though there is no signs that it's coming. And now we're feeling the energy that it's coming, but we still don't even know when. We continue to be disappointed, like learning not to invest in timelines anymore because it's like blah blah blah. And all of that patience and that waiting is breaking down all of these concepts, even around time in general. Because I think I've been getting a lot of messages around time travel, and for a minute I thought I was about to solve time travel, and who knows, I very well may. But I think that Spirit is just trying to say that time is breaking down as a concept in general. I'm gonna read you out. I'm gonna make a video where I just read out all of the things that I've collected around for the past 2 weeks, because I've gotten some messages. I'm just gonna read them out because I don't want to, I can't explain it, because in those times I'm just channeling, so it's easier for me to just share it. I'll make it public, we can all hear it, and then do with it what you will. But I think Spirit is just saying that time in general is gonna get a lot more shaky. We're gonna start understanding just how much of an illusion everything is, and a lot of things are just gonna start breaking down, and the earth will be able to tell you what you need to know. And grounding yourself and being outside and following the patterns of the earth and following the ways that the earth is existing is going to be very informative on how you can exist and how you can exist in alignment, so that you can handle what's going to happen over the next few decades. Because, like I've said time and time again, we're not the only ones going through like an apocalypse. We're not the only ones going through massive change. The earth is going through massive change, and the earth is a part of the universe, so the universe is going through massive change. Our ancestors are going through massive change. You know, the angels are going through massive change. The stars, these, all the fucking people. Everything, everyone, all at once is going through massive change. And we can learn from each other, and we can assemble, and we can reunite. We can unite. Try to really let yourself be a kid again in just how much you use your imagination and how open you are to things being alive in ways that seem impossible, because the impossible is where it's at right now. The impossible and the energy of impossibility is where you're going to find the gem. That's where you're going to find the gold. Your imagination, your creativity, that energy, it's almost like devil energy, is the gold right now. And so you're going to also probably come up against a lot of blocks of people who are afraid of their own darkness and of their own power and of their own depth. People who are afraid of their own creativity, people who are afraid of their own mind. And there's going to be a lot of people who are probably going to get accused of like witchcraft in the evil sense, and like of devil shit and all of that. Like, there's gonna be a lot of accusations. There's gonna be a lot of tricky energy, because it's boundaries are hard, and dealing with change is even harder, and fear and being scared and feeling vulnerable pushes people to act like they don't understand what's going on, you know. And as much as you can help people, help them, but also let people learn the lessons they need to learn. It's not your problem, you know. Just work on being vulnerable yourself. Work on being accountable for how you behave. Work on being accountable for how you can grow, how you can help others heal by apologizing when you need to apologize, admitting when you're wrong, standing up for yourself, all of these things. Do what you can do. And just doing that is enough to contribute to aiding this revolution and aiding this healing process and this awakening and all of this shifting and whatever the fuck, you know. Literally working on yourself it's good enough. Like, that's more than enough. Just trying to be self-aware in whatever way that means to you, whatever way it works for you, anytime you can. Don't let people pressure you into doing more than you can. Honestly, like, this is that flow energy. Do what you can, and when you get tired, let the current take you. This is like floating on your back and just letting the ocean move you around, and you'll end up where you need to end up. Right now, Spirit kind of has their hand on the globe, and they're working with the earth to just shift things around, and things are going to happen whether you are aware or not, whether you like it or not, whether you really want it to or not. Like, things are just going to be changing. This is a lot bigger than us, because like I just said, we're going through these changes as people, as human beings, animals, creatures, nature. Earth is going through this change, which means Spirit is going through this change. The universe is going through this change. There's things that they've got to get done, right? So whether you want this particular shift to happen in your life is really a matter of, you know, like, it's just going to happen. Things are going to happen that are out of your control, and it doesn't mean that you deserve to suffer. It doesn't blah, blah, blah. It doesn't mean any of that. It just means that we're in a really extreme time and a magical time, but magic is complicated, which is why witchcraft has gotten the energy that it's gotten, and it's why people can be very afraid of it just as much as people can be in awe of it and love it. I mean, yeah, right? So just try. I mean, I like, defensiveness and fighting is our human nature, and it's okay. But when you're tired, just let yourself flow. You don't need to overwork yourself. I promise you, you'll be taken where you need to be taken. Like, you can let water carry you. You can let the ocean carry you. You can let the wind take you where you need to go. And it'd be really nice if you could do that with partnership, with friendship, with loved ones. You know, accept company. because like sometimes the way that people are going to help during this time is just by being there. It's just by going through it with you. Just like you're not alone, you know? Like the reason why people survive apocalypses and wars and, the reason why families survive, refugee, like having to immigrate and having to leave your home and start a new life. And all, you survive because you have other people with you. I mean, what the and people who are alone survive because they're going towards something that helps other people. Like we are all such social creatures. Our will to survive is so heavily based around other people, and so company is going to be such a gift during this time. Love, collaboration is going to be such a gift during this time. Community is going to be such a gift, and we're going to understand and unlock our true power once we learn to accept letting other people be with us. And that doesn't mean not having boundaries, because we're also probably going to be letting go of people who don't need to be with you, who don't make you want to be alive, who make life a lot harder, who make life draining. We're going to be letting go of systems that probably maybe at one point made us feel secure in some things, but we realize are actually betraying us, like some of these governments, So there's going to be a lot of releasing. But like, what did the pandemic show us with community power? When the government wasn't helping people and people were starving and people didn't get groceries and all of these shits, like people came together and created grocery systems, and people came together and funded people's rent and all of these things. Community power, people power is real. And every single one of us has the ability to engage in community and shift the world, shift the energy of the world, heal a fraction of the world through collaboration, through company, through love, that energy, the generation of generating love energy in different ways, which is really just, being true to your soul, being kind. And do that with who you feel comfortable doing it with. You don't need to do this specific movement. Do what you want to fucking do. Just be kind, And if you can't be nice to everyone, be nice to who you can be. And then don't engage with anyone else. Just leave the other people alone, Like, just focus on what you can focus on. Don't take on more than you need to take on, because that's when people start losing their minds and becoming an asshole or becoming bitter, just becoming self-sabotagers, because you're overwhelmed. Just take it off your damn plate. And I know that that's easier said than done, but girl, I'm trying to tell you what can be helpful. So don't be mad at me. There's just like a no frills bag just like blowing in the wind. Ugh. I don't like littering. Anyways. Some things are out of your control, girl. Let it go. But yeah, honestly, overall, I'm very, very excited for the future. Very, very excited. I think that we are heading towards really positive energy, honestly. It's not going to be easy, but like, when is life ever easy? Earth is not an easy place to live in. It's a magical place. It's a complicated and complex place. It's an interesting place, but it's not really easy. And that's fine, because sometimes easy is boring. Sometimes easy is good and nice, but sometimes it's boring. And if there's one thing this planet isn't, it's boring. So, yeah, I think that I'm gonna head out. And the birds are like a huge thing. Honestly, just like sit in a park and watch the birds, and you'll find some type of insight. Sit in the park and watch a tree, like you'll find something. Mother Nature has messages for every single one of us, and you just have to listen. And it doesn't have to be profound. It can literally just be anything. Like, she's just always wanting to speak to us. You just have to let her speak to you. It doesn't need to be this huge revelation. Sometimes it just wants to make you laugh. Sometimes it'll just be like a memory popping up that's hilarious, or it'll be a memory popping up that's traumatic that you need to work through, and here's a perfect place to cry. Like, that's just what it is. So just let it be, just flow with it all. All right, I'm gonna head out. I love you. Goodbye.